قالوا, they said. What was their response? What was their suggestion? نحن أولو قوة. We are men of strength. We are people of strength. وأولو بأس شديد. And we are possessors of great military might. Ba's, military might, shadid, severe. وَالْأَمْرُ إِلَيْكِ. And the matter, the command, the decision, it is for you, meaning it belongs to you. Ultimately, you have to make the decision. فَانْظُرِي مَاذَا تَأْمُرِينَ. So see what you will command. What are they suggesting over here? Battle, war. That's how typically men think. Why do we have to submit? We have so much power, we have so much authority, we can deal with them. So let's go and fight. But again, the decision is yours. فَانْظُرِي مَاذَا تَأْمُرِينَ. They give their suggestion and they remind her of their great numbers, their strength to fight. And in a way they're telling her that if you want to fight, we can fight for you. If you want to have a war with them, we can do that. Now look at these people. They are so powerful, they're so mighty, but they're being ruled by who? By a woman. Why? Because she was very strong and mighty? She was a tyrant? And she controlled them with her anger and her threats? No. It was her intelligence, her wisdom. This is how she ruled them. One is that you make the other person listen to you by force. And the other is that you convince the other person to listen to you how? By your love, your intelligence, your wisdom. What is more effective? The second way. Isn't it so? Especially as women. If you begin to yell at your husband, if you begin to yell at your siblings and tell them that your work is very, very important, and you try to keep them in control by your anger and your emotions, what's going to happen? They will say, just some time and then we'll show her. Let her finish this course and then we'll deal with her. Then people are just waiting. Let her finish and then we'll show her. And the other is that you take your family along with you. You win their love. What's going to happen? They will cooperate with you. We see that this woman is ruling over men. She is the queen. And look at how much they respect her. Because she was so intelligent in the way she dealt with them. So when you win the heart of the other person, then you have them on your side. And it also shows that they trusted her decision, because they say to her, "Wal amru ilayki." The matter is for you to decide. The final decision you have to make. And whatever decision you make, we'll accept it. فَانْظُرِي مَاذَا تَأْمُرِينَ. So see, what do you decide? And tell us, and we will obey. قالت. She said, إِنَّ الْمُلُوكَ. Indeed the kings. Muluk, plural of Malik. Indeed the kings, إِذَا دَخَلُوا قَرْيَةً. When they enter a town, when they enter a people, what do? أَفْسَدُوهَا. They corrupt it. They ruin it. They destroy it. How? With destruction. By killing. By taking people as captives. By destroying the buildings. وَجَعَلُوا. And they make أَعِزَّةَ أَهْلِهَا أَذِلَّةً. They make the honored of its people humbled. A'izza is the plural of Aziz. And who is Aziz? Mighty, but also honorable, respected. So they make the A'izza of its people, the honorable people of that city, they make those honorable people Adillah. Adillah is a plural of Dhalil, humble, lowly, abased. And this is what typically happens. وَكَذَلِكَ يَفْعَلُونَ. And this is exactly what they do. Who? The kings. Think about it. Any nation that is attacked, what happens? Fasad. And who is harmed most? It's the elite, those with power, those who are in high positions. They're the ones who are attacked first. They're the ones who are harmed first. So she knew that war does not yield good. War does not lead to a good outcome. And she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to fight with Sulaiman alayhi salam, because she knew that it would not lead to a good outcome. Even if she was victorious, still it would lead to a lot of loss. Because even if at the end of a battle you are victorious, you have suffered losses. So she did not want to do this. Rather, what did she want? She wanted sulh. So she wanted some form of reconciliation. Now, think about it. She could have said this at the beginning as well, without doing all of this discussion. She could have said that look, these people, they want us to come to them. They want to take over us. They're calling us to Islam. But the thing is that I don't want to fight with them, because if they fight with us, then it's going to lead to a lot of chaos and loss. So therefore, this is what I've decided to do. She could have done that, but she didn't. She reaches the same conclusion, but how? By discussion. Because when she discusses the matter with her people, then it makes them agree with her. So she makes them agree by discussing the matter with them. When you do shura with one another, then first of all, it encourages teamwork. Everybody is involved in the work. Secondly, if you end up suffering some loss at the end, then who is responsible? Everyone. It's not just the leader who is going to be held responsible. Everyone is responsible. Everyone takes the blame for it. So this is very, very important. So the Queen of Saba, she tells them over here that, look, if you want to fight, remember that if we fight, it's going to lead to great loss, great fasad, and it's going to harm our elite, our honorable people. They're going to be abased, they're going to be belittled, and we don't want to disrespect them in any way whatsoever. What do we see over here? That whatever she says is based on reality. It's based on fact. There is no emotional behavior on her part. Typically women are very emotional, but she's not emotional. If it was someone foolish in her position, what would they do? That we have so much power, let's go and fight. We have might, so why should we submit to them? Let's go ahead and fight them. But she's very, very sensible in the decision that she makes. And the thing is that conflict, in any situation, it does not lead to a good solution. It does not yield profit and benefit. It only results in what? In fasad. And this is something true on a large scale as well as a small scale. Like, for example, at a large scale, a country going to a war with another country. There may be some benefits, but there's going to be great loss as well. A lot of money is going to be spent. A lot of lives are going to be taken. A lot of houses are going to be destroyed. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Many people are going to suffer from hunger and wounds, and so on and so forth. The list is endless. There may be some benefits, but the loss is much more. Similarly, at a small scale, if you have a conflict with someone and you start fighting with them, you start arguing with them, you start showing attitude to them, what is it going to lead to? It's going to make you miserable. It's going to make them miserable. Is it going to solve any problem? No. You're going to want to get out of there. They're going to want to get out of there. But if you agree that, okay, this is how it is, let's find a solution. Let's find a means, a way of reconciliation, of sulh, of compromise. I will compromise in this way, they will compromise in that way. And yes, this is not an ideal situation. However, we will avoid suffering loss. We will avoid causing fasad. You understand? What is better of the two? Causing fasad or compromising? Compromising. Because remember, this life is temporary. It's not eternal. And if you cause fasad by your conflict, by your fights, by your arguments, then it's not just that you're making your life miserable, but you're making the lives of other people miserable. Constantly disturbing them. Constantly making them upset and concerned as well. So in any problem, in any situation, instead of conflict, sulh is much better. And this is what she decides to do as well. But before taking a step, again, she's very wise. So what does she do? She does something first. Before going to Sulaiman a.s., she tests him to make sure, to find out about his real motives. That does he just want to expand his kingdom and gain all our riches? Or is it that he's really inviting us to the worship of Allah? So she says, وَإِنِّي مُرْسِلَةٌ إِلَيْهِمْ, and I am going to send to them بِهَدِيَّةٍ, with a gift. I am going to send a gift to them. To who? To Sulaiman alayhi salam and his people. The word hadiyya is from the root letters hadal, ya. And hadiyya is used for a present, it's used for a gift. And the word hidayah, huda, is also from the same root. Because what is hidayah? To go from point A to point B, right? Transformation. So what was with you, when you gifted it to someone, it becomes theirs. It becomes their property. So once it becomes their property, can you tell them how to use it? Can you tell them they must not give it to anybody else? Can you? No, you cannot. Once you have given a gift to someone, it belongs to them. So don't impose restrictions that this you have to wear. And you cannot give it to anybody. You have to use this. You cannot give it to anybody. No, this is not the right way. Hadiyah is a gift, it belongs to the other person now. So she says, I'm going to send a gift to them. فَنَاظِرَةٌ, and then I'm going to look. بِمَا يَرْجِعُ الْمُرْسَلُونَ, with what the Mursalun return with. Bima is actually Bima. That what is it that the Mursalun, the messengers whom I have sent, what do they come back with? She sent the gift with who? With Mursalun. Mursal is who? One who is sent. With her messengers, with her envoys. So she sent the gift with her envoys, and she says, then I'm going to see what response do my envoys return with. That what do they tell me about Sulaiman alayhi salam? What is his reaction? What is his behavior? Does he send a gift back to us? Does he reject the gift? Does he become angry? Does he become very happy? Does he say, okay, you stay in your homes, just send me tax every year or every month? What is his reaction? What is it that my envoys return with? So we see that the queen, she wanted to find out about the real motives of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And this again is what? Is a sign of her wisdom. She does not retaliate immediately, nor does she submit right away. She does not go to war. She does not say, how dare you say this to us? Nor does she submit immediately. She wants to check that who is he really? What does he really want? If he's a king, then he will accept this gift of mine. If he wants to expand his kingdom, then he will accept this gift of mine. But if he is really a prophet, then he will not take the gift. Because prophets, they do not come to amass wealth. Why do they come? Why do they come? To guide people, to convey the message to them. So this is why she sends a gift to him. Now we see that she's very intelligent. She's sending a gift. Qatada, he said that may Allah have mercy on her and be pleased with her. How wise she was as a Muslim, and also before that as a mushrikah. That she understood how gift giving has a good effect on people. That she sent a gift to test him and to also see how he would respond, how he would react. Because she knew that when you give a gift to someone, it has a good effect on them. Now, this gift was in a way like a bribe. Because when you give a gift to someone, then what happens? They develop a soft corner for you. So if he is a man who wants to make money, he's just a king, then he is going to really appreciate this gift of mine, and he will come to some kind of compromise that, okay, you don't come to me, however, you send me some gift every now and then, you send me tax every now and then. Because she knew that giving gifts to people, it softens their heart. It has a good effect on them. It's a very fine point that we learn from this part of the story. Very fine point. You have to think about it. Do you understand? Why did she send a gift? Out of all things, why did she send a gift? In the form of a bribe. Because when you send a gift to someone, it softens their heart. So she's really testing him. Does he get influenced by this gift? Does he end up changing his mind? Or does he remain firm on his principle? If he changes his mind, if he gets affected by it, that means he's not really a prophet. He just wants to make money. But if he remains firm, then what does it show? That he is a prophet. He wants something else from us. He doesn't want money from us, he wants us to become Muslim. So what do we see? That gifts, they have a good effect on the other person. And this is why giving gifts is highly encouraged in our religion. The Prophet ﷺ said, shake hands with one another, and rancor, it will disappear. Ghil. The ghil that is in the heart, it will disappear. And give presents to each other, and love each other, and enmity will disappear. If you give gifts to one another, and love one another, then what will disappear? Enmity will disappear. We also see that Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that the Prophet ﷺ, he would accept gifts, and he would also give gifts in return. What does it mean? That accepting gifts and giving gifts, what does it lead to? Good relationship, healthy relationship. And the Prophet ﷺ, remember, he would not accept charity, which is why whenever something was brought to him, he would always ask if it was charity or it was a gift. If it was a gift, he would accept it, and if it was charity, he would distribute it amongst the needy. So we see that giving gifts is encouraged as long as the niyyah behind that is sincere. That you're not giving a gift to someone as a bribe, to get some other benefit out of them, to make them give you some benefit that you don't actually deserve, to compromise on the rules for your sake, to give you good marks. This is not the reason why a person should be giving gifts to other people. What should be the reason? What should be the niyyah? Just to increase love between one another, to show your appreciation to the other person, to show them that you love them, to show them that you care for them. And remember that any gift, whatever that you can afford, it can be given to the other person. We have made certain standards that it has to be of a certain value. It cannot be of a lesser value. And because of that, we complicate our lives and we complicate the lives of other people as well. The Prophet ﷺ said, O Muslim women, none of you should look down upon the gift sent by her neighbor, even if it were the trotters of the sheep, meaning the fleshless part of the legs of the sheep. You know, the feet of the sheep, even they're cooked, the bones. So even if there's no flesh on it, and she just sends you the bones, that's all that she can send you. Don't look down on it. But what have we done? If somebody is visiting, if somebody is coming, if we're going somewhere, the gift has to be of a certain value. And if it's any lesser, then we will not give anything. Or we will not show up at all. Or if they're giving a gift, we will not accept it. This is not the correct way. You should always give whatever you can afford. How much ever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the tawfiq of. Like at certain occasions, we have made it compulsory that we have to give gifts to one another. Like for example, at the occasion of marriage. At the occasion of a person having a child or something like that. At the occasion of somebody going to a new house or something like that. We have made it mandatory upon us. Now remember that it's good to give gifts at occasions, but it's not necessary that we only give gifts at occasions. It can also be outside of occasions. And just because someone has given a particular gift to you, it doesn't mean you have to give them a gift of equal value or greater. It's not necessary. Because you have to look at what you can afford. Now if a person has given you a very expensive gift, or they have the time to cook and send you food, for example, and you don't have that skill, nor do you have the time, now doesn't mean that you have to put in so much effort and invite them over and prepare all those dishes, the exact number of dishes that they prepared. No. You have to look at what you can do. Because when we get into this, that they gave me this much, therefore I have to give them this much as well, then is it going to increase love? No way. It's not going to increase love. It's going to increase hatred and resentment and dislike and frustration. Like for example, at certain occasions, people have this habit that if somebody has given you a particular gift, write it down. They gave me this much money. They gave me a gift of this much value. So that when their child gets married, you give them the exact amount of money, and not more, not less. Is this correct? It happens, but it's not right. Why? If they gave you $200, you can afford to give $500. Why should you give $200 when you can give $500? If they gave you $200, you can only give $50. Why should you give 200 when you can only give 50? You understand? So, never complicate your life like this, nor should you complicate the life of other people. Giving gifts should be a means of increasing love. The actual problem is that we're not doing it for the sake of Allah. We're doing it just to meet certain standards or just to follow the traditions of our family, and we follow them blindly, making our lives difficult and the lives of other people difficult as well. This is also incorrect. That you give a gift to someone just so that you can get a gift back from them. This is what? A bribe. This is incorrect. This is not sincerely for the sake of Allah. This is also inappropriate. Because we have limited gift giving to certain occasions, what happens? People have to make these certain occasions such a big deal so that they can get great gifts. Like for example, marriage has to be a great event. The aqiqah has to be a great event. The birthday has to be a great event. And only when it's made an event, then people will give gifts. Otherwise, people will not give gifts. And sometimes children, the birthdays are made such a big deal that they wait for their birthday so that they can get some gifts. This is not appropriate. Give gifts anyway, whenever you can afford. So we have to be very careful that why is it that we're giving a gift? Is it just so that we can give back to the other person what they gave us? Is it so that we can get some benefit out of them? Or is it just to meet certain requirements of the tradition, of the culture, of the family? We have to be very, very careful. Now, remember that whenever you give a gift, make sure that it's a useful gift as well. Because sometimes, we just to make the gift expensive and just to give a gift for the sake of giving a gift, we give things that are useless sometimes or may not be as beneficial. Like for example, decoration pieces. Now if you think about it, everybody has their own choice when it comes to decorating their house. If you know the choice of someone and you know that, okay, they don't have a wall clock in this room, so maybe giving a wall clock to my friend would be a good idea. She just moved into her house. Okay, you know her choice. You give a gift receipt. That's good. But you went to her house, you saw that the washroom is full of stuff, and still you give more stuff. What is she going to do with it? It becomes quite a burden on other people. So we have to be very, very careful. And remember that the gift must be practical, not necessarily expensive, because that's the advice that the Prophet ﷺ gave us. If you look at it, the feet of the sheep, are they useful? Yes, you can make soup. But is it expensive? No. It's useful, but it's not expensive. So always look at this criteria. And we should also not set a condition that other people should only give us gifts of this type. Like for example, at weddings, people write this on the card in particular, no boxed gifts. Now, why do people write this? Because many times people give very useless gifts, and they become such a burden on the bride and the groom. Now, first of all, be practical in what you give. But on the side of the recipient, he should also not set conditions, only give this or only give that. Because the other person might not be able to give you money, but they might be able to give you something physical. So don't impose restrictions on other people. And if, let's say, they have given you something which you don't really like, it's not really up to your standard, don't get offended. Just think about it this way. This is all they could afford. Because at the end of the day, it's actually the thought that counts. And if it's not that good, don't start telling other people about it. Oh, they gave me this gift. When they get married, and I'm going to give them that. I expected something better from them. Don't be like this. Don't start talking negatively about it. Ignore it. Let it be. Give it away to someone else if you think you don't need it. So we have to be very, very careful. And in particular, we see that this gift was what? A bribe. And remember that bribes, they are not permissible. So in gift giving, what would be a bribe? That you give a gift to someone to get a gift back. You give a gift to someone to get some favor in return. So over here, she sent a gift to Sulaiman alayhi salam. Why? Why? To see if he would be affected by it, and as a result, he would change his mind. We see that the Prophet ﷺ, he cursed the one who bribes and the one who takes the bribe. Both people are cursed. The one who offers the bribe and the one who accepts it. Why? Because some benefit that the person does not deserve, he is going to get it as a result of that gift. And this is why if you have given a loan to someone, you're not allowed to accept gifts from them. Why? Because if you accept a gift from them, you might feel embarrassed of asking them to return your money to you. So by giving a gift, they have made you silent. This is not appropriate. Similarly, a person, he never gave a gift to the other, but just because the other person, he got a particular post, now he's become very wealthy and he's up there. So now they're sending them food and they're calling them and they're giving gifts to their children. Why? To get some benefit out of them. So this is inappropriate. So such gifts are not permissible. Similarly, a person might want to give a gift to their teacher just so that the teacher becomes more nice towards them. They become special in the eyes of the teacher. This is also inappropriate. They might want to give a gift to a teacher just so that they get good marks, even though they don't deserve them. This is also inappropriate. So we have to be very careful that the niyyah, the intention behind giving gifts should be sincerely for whose sake? For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we have given a gift, do not expect anything in return. When you have given a gift to someone, do not expect anything in return. Remember that. Because if we have expectations, then we mind that the other person did not call us and thank us. Like for example, if you've given a gift to someone, they came over to your house, you gave a gift to them, and before leaving they thanked you several times. You went to somebody's wedding, and as you were leaving, the bride and the groom, they thanked you for coming. Why do you expect that you should be sent a thank you card? Why? Why do you expect that you should receive a call and the other person should say, oh, thank you so much for inviting me at such a lovely time, when they actually thanked you when they were leaving from the bottom of their heart? Why do we expect this? When we have such expectations, then our relationships, they get affected. And many times, you know what? They don't even know what is expected of them. Like for example, when I got married, there were certain people who invited me. I went over, I thanked them a lot, and when I came back, I was told by some other people that, oh, you didn't call them, and they were very upset. And I was like, oh my God, I thanked them. I didn't have any such feelings in my heart. So sometimes people have no idea what is expected in a particular culture, in a particular family. When they've thanked you, isn't that sufficient? Why do we expect that they should invite us now in return? Since they invited you when you got married, you should also invite them to your house. Why? This is not an exchange of things. This is supposed to be gift giving. When I can afford, I will give. When I have time, when I can cook, I would invite. Sometimes what happens? We do a favor to someone, like for example, we bring water to them. And the next time we want water from them, what do we say? Look, I brought it for you, so you bring it for me. There your charity has been wasted. Man, adha. What's the point of giving that sadaqah? What's the point of giving that gift? When the other person has to pay such a heavy price for it, embarrassment and shame and so on and so forth. But when people behave in this way, you don't even want to talk to them. You're so embarrassed to even face them. So, to summarize, what do we learn from here? That when a person is giving a gift, he should give it sincerely for the sake of Allah, which means he gives whatever he can afford, the best that he can give, and he does not expect anything in return. فَلَمَّا جَاءَ سُلَيْمَانَ. So when he came to Sulaiman, who? The Mursalun, the envoys. قَالَ, he said, Sulaiman ﷺ responded, أَتُمِدُّونَنِي بِمَالٍ. Do you extend me with wealth? تُمِدُّونَنِي, Mim dal dal, imdad, meaning do you aid me? Do you provide me with wealth? You're giving me money, you're giving me wealth. فَمَا آتَانِيَ اللَّهُ. So whatever Allah has given me, it is khayrun, it is much better, مِمَّا آتَاكُمْ, than what He has given you. What Allah has given me is better than what He has given you. What does it mean by that? I don't need your wealth. I don't need your gifts. I don't need your money. I don't need this bribe of yours. Because whatever Allah has given me is much better than what He has given you. What is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given to Sulaiman alayhi salam? He had given him prophethood, kingship, authority, a great kingdom, knowledge, wisdom, and along with that, a lot of wealth. So the wealth that Allah has given me, all of these blessings Allah has given me, it's far better than what Allah has given you. Compared to you, what I have is far better. It's much better. You only have the things of this dunya. You don't have deen. You don't have prophethood. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ, rather you all, بِهَدِيَّتِكُمْ, with your gift, تَفْرَحُونَ, you all rejoice. You are very happy about this gift of yours. Why did he say that? That it is only your type of people who get influenced by gifts and presents. These things, these gifts, they don't please me. They don't interest me. They cannot silence me. They cannot make me change my mind. My mission is not to make money. So it is only people like you who can be very happy with such gifts. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ بِهَدِيَّتِكُمْ تَفْرَحُونَ. You cannot please me with such gifts. So what do we see over here? That he could not be misled, nor he could be silenced. He was very firm. But there's a very fine point over here that we should notice. That wealth, it can put the people of deen in fitna. It can. Sulaiman alayhi salam, he was very strong, and this is why he did not get influenced by it. But it's quite possible that a person in greed of money, in greed of wealth, he compromises on the truth. This is the reason why for a scholar, it's very, very important that he should speak the truth, he should say the haqq, no matter what kind of worldly benefit he could gain or he could lose. Regardless of that, he has to speak the truth. And remember, this is not just for a scholar, but for any person who is working for the deen in any way whatsoever. That he has to stand by the truth, he has to stick to it, he has to observe it, he has to speak it, even if other people offer him wealth otherwise. Like for example, we learned that once the Prophet ﷺ, he sent someone to collect zakat. And when that person returned, he came back with the zakat funds, and he said to the Prophet ﷺ that this is the zakat money that I have collected from the people, and these are the gifts that they gave to me. Why? Because he was sent by the Prophet ﷺ and people liked him and people were very happy to see him, so they gave him gifts. So the Prophet ﷺ said that would you get these gifts if you were in your father's house and your mother's house? No. You got them only because you went out in the way of Allah. So they don't belong to you. Who do they belong to? The Baytul Mal as well. So you have to give them into the Baytul Mal as well. Now, if you think about it, why was it not allowed for him to take that gift? He was given that gift. It wasn't that people did not give him zakat. They gave the zakat, but at the same time they also gave him personal gifts. Why was it not permissible for him to take it? Because if he took those gifts, then the next time he would go, he might be more lenient with the people. That, oh, they gave me gifts last time, so I should not be too strict with them. So if any gift, it prevents you from fulfilling your obligation, from fulfilling your duty, do not accept that gift. Do not take it, in whatever form it may be. Do not accept a favor from anyone if it prevents you from fulfilling your obligation, fulfilling your duty.